Hello, my name is Peter Browning, and it is my privilege to introduce the Salina Concrete 100-year anniversary video. I have been the acting general manager since 2007, and during this time, when speaking with employees and customers, it has become obvious that Salina Concrete has a story to share. As we celebrate our 100th anniversary, this video has been made in an attempt to share with you the story of Salina Concrete products. It is our intention that this video will give you a deeper understanding about both the company and its products that have been such an integral part of building not only a better Salina, but also a better Kansas. All of us at Salina Concrete realize that without the support of the customers and the community, this anniversary would never have been possible. As a result of this understanding, we offer our most sincere thanks and deepest gratitude for the opportunity to serve you over the past 100 years.
Salina Concrete Products, now known as Salina Concrete, was organized in 1913 by H. Allison and was known as Salina Silo. The business operated solely as a turnkey operation, producing silo staves and then constructing concrete silos for customers throughout the region. Following Mr. Allison's death in 1930, his two sons, Hugh and Vincent, operated the company until 1936. In 1936, Salina Silo was known as Salina Concrete Products and was purchased by the Wyatt Manufacturing Company. Under this ownership group, Mr. Harold Lammy managed the company until suffering a paralytic stroke in 1941. In 1942, Salina Concrete Products was reorganized as a corporation. It was at this time Carl Engstrom was employed as the manager. The product mix continued to grow, culminating in a warehouse being built in 1952 to store building materials. In 1958, the controlling interest was purchased by employees of Salina Concrete. This continued until April of 1965, when Monarch Cement purchased the controlling interest and now is the sole owner of Salina Concrete Products. After Carl Engstrom's retirement in 1974, the managers who have followed are Lyle Morgan, 1974 to 1992, Flavel Simcox, 1992 to 1997, Steve Morgan, 1997 to 2003, Cliff Thummel, 2003 to 2006, and since 2007, Peter Browning has been the acting general manager. Concrete silos were the reason for the creation of Salina Concrete in 1913. This product line was a turnkey operation with crews working in their winter months, producing and building staves inventories. Salina Concrete owned 2 stave machines, and the production teams could average a typical production of 800 staves per day. Once the frost was out of the ground, as many as 8 Salina Concrete crews would leave Salina to build silos for customers. Crews traveled throughout the Midwest, building silos in Kansas, Missouri, Nebraska, South Dakota, and Colorado. The average work week for these crews was from 7 a.m. till 7 p.m., 6 days a week. One employee remembered that every now and then there was a little overtime. The 4-person crew would stack the staves on the footing, which was already poured, and then build scaffold inside to the silo, and then stack staves course upon course until the height of the silo had been reached. As they moved up the silo, steel loops were placed around the courses of staves and tightened. Once this was completed, the inside of the silo was plastered with Portland cement. In a typical week, it was not uncommon to build 3 to 4 silos. A commonly constructed silo was a 20 by 60, which the 4-man crew could construct in 2 days. This specific silo consisted of 2,000 of the 70-pound staves. Crews would continue working, going to sites that had been sold by one of the 3 Salina Concrete outside sales teams. Once fall arrived, and with it the first frost, crews would be sent back to Salina. The process continued for decades until 1975, when Salina Concrete ceased this business due to the farming community moving to trench silos for storage. The word concrete comes from the Latin word concretus, meaning compact or condensed. The Romans are seen as the first culture to embrace concrete and realize its revolutionary implications for construction. Their mixes, when examined today, are considered primitive, but were still effective. Mixes consisted of small gravel and coarse sand mixed together with hot lime and water. To reduce shrinkage, they used horsehair, much like we use polypropylene fibers today. They also found that mixing animal blood left small bubbles in the mix, entraining air, which led to a more durable mix. The Romans' use of concrete was extensive. When it was realized, they constructed 5,300 miles of roads throughout their empire. To help provide scope of this feat, there are approximately 4,200 miles of interstates in the U.S. From 300 BC to 476 AD, Roman builders used concrete in constructing well-known structures such as the Appian Way, Roman baths, the Colosseum, and Pantheon. As a testament to the longevity of concrete and their construction methods, these structures are still standing today. After the fall of the Roman Empire in 476 AD, the techniques for making pozzolan cement were lost until the discovery in 1414 of manuscripts describing those techniques rekindled interest in building with concrete. In 1824, Joseph Aspdin of England invented Portland cement by burning finely ground chalk with finely divided clay in a kiln until carbon dioxide was driven off. The sintered product was then ground, and he called it Portland, being named after the high-quality building stones quarried in Portland, England. In 1891, George Bartholomew placed the first concrete street in the USA in Bellefontaine, Ohio. This street is still in existence today. In 1936, the first major concrete dams, Hoover Dam and Grand Coulee Dam, were built. Both of these dams are still in existence and functioning with their intended purpose. In 1938, Salina Concrete added ready-mixed concrete to our product mix. While many things have changed since 1938, Salina Concrete has built a reputation of providing a premium quality product which customers have praised for decades. Years of product testing and research have resulted in the development of optimal mixes utilizing local aggregates. Salina Concrete has formulated dozens of mix designs to choose from, allowing us to meet the specific needs of customers' projects. Thousands of homes and businesses throughout Saline County and central Kansas rest on the foundations of Salina Concrete's concrete and will continue to provide strong foundations as time marches on. The first batch plant was built and located on the south end of what is now the block department. Drivers would back in the 1- and 2-yard trucks and start their mixer. At that time, the mixer was operated independently with its own gas-powered motors, powering chain drives attached to the mixer. After the mixer was started and the truck was in position, the batch man would load the cement, sand, and rock, as well as the necessary water. Mixes were ordered in a recipe format, and the batch man would physically tear and dump the number of sacks of cement ordered in the truck's hopper. The aggregates were elevated overhead into bulk storage with an elevator. The batch man would use levers to dump the appropriate amounts of sand and rock into the 1- or 2-yard mixers. Mixes now are ordered based on the desired performance in terms of PSI. These mixes are now loaded into mixers with 10-yard capacities. With this being said, habits die hard, and it's still not uncommon for customers to order a recipe mix such as a 6- or 8-sack mix. In 1938, the supply of Portland cement to Salina Concrete was shipped and received through the railroad by railcar shipments. It was not uncommon to receive 3 or 4 rail cars per week. Each rail car was stacked floor to ceiling with 94-pound bags of Portland cement. Employees would then unload the rail cars by hand, stacking these bags onto a dolly and then winching these loaded dollies up a ramp into the overhead mezzanine. Once the dollies were in the overhead mezzanine, they were unloaded by hand and stored for future use. Employees would be paid after a typical workday 1 cent per bag to unload these loaded rail cars. These 94-pound bags of Portland cement were packaged in cloth bags, and after use, the bags were saved and sent back to the cement plant for reuse. This process is no longer needed due to the ability to receive Portland cement in bulk through pneumatic trailers and blown into overhead storage bins through the use of the Cyclone Air system.